Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Krensman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks.
You're very welcome.
A little bit dramatic there on the intro today. I like that.
Yeah.
Coming to you live, as always, from the beautiful studios here of Undefeated Media in Bergen County, New Jersey. Episode number 14 on the Spanish dial. That's a kind of cool number to say.
Very
so episode number 14 of the Mind Your Puckin' Business
Remember the
program.
name?
Yes. Well, you know what? We're out of whack. We've never taped in the afternoon.
Yes.
This is like all different. I'm half asleep by now. It's past my bedtime. And we gotta roll with this. So welcome to the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast. You can hear us anytime on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and a bunch of other outlets that are out there. And you can always send your questions to us at mypbshow@gmail.com. I will say that again. See, look, magic if you're following us on camera. mypbshow@gmail.com. Isn't it cool how it does that? Cool. I tell you, when technology works, it's cool. And if technology works, which I'm never 100% sure of, we will have a guest joining us in a little bit, which will be pretty cool and exciting. And we'll kind of make it a cool Thanksgiving episode as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States coming this Thursday in 2 days, less than 48 hours to Turkey Day, and it will be a much different Turkey Day for people this year with the way the world is. But we will steer clear of that and try to take happy topics. And let's start with a happy topic today, and that is a team that we never talk about.
Oh yeah,
but we talked about it last week because I was worried they were going to do something bad, and they didn't. And that is the New York Knickerbockers. The New York Knicks last week, as they always do because they stink, have a lottery pick in the draft every single year. And like clockwork, you can almost bet on the fact that whatever player the New York Knicks are going to draft is going to not turn out well down the road. So the New York Knicks in the offseason, as a recap, hired a brand new team president, Leon Rose. Went a completely different direction. Leon Rose is a old NBA agent. Doesn't have front office experience running a basketball team, but at this point, what the heck, right? Nothing else works for the Knicks. So they hired Leon Rose, and in his first draft last week, I'm going to put it like this. When you read the results for the Knicks, if you try and look and say, okay, how did the Knicks do in the draft? You don't see articles written about who they drafted. Mm-hmm. You just see articles written that they didn't screw it up for a change. That's all you need to know. That the Knicks hopefully got a draft right. And I don't know about you, Dougie Sticks, but I am guilty of this. Whenever there is a draft, whether it be an NFL draft, an NHL draft, or the NBA draft, as we're talking about, I always on the next day after a draft will go to ESPN draft grades, right? You want to see every team gets a grade. Yeah. The Knicks have all A's and B's. That never happened. It's like they're a brand new student in school. So you got to give the Knicks credit. They got this guy, Obi Toppin from the University of Dayton, who certainly is a guy, if you watch his highlights and you see how he did last year, he's won some Player of the Year awards. You've got to be thrilled that the Knicks got him at number 8. There were a lot of rumors out there that the Knicks would be having to trade up to try and get him because he was high on the radar. They didn't even need to do that. It fell into his lap. And then they also got a guard from the University of Kentucky later on in the first round. So 2 very good picks. Let's hope that they got it right.
So for those of you who didn't watch, I mean, it's been a crazy time. I missed it. I'm assuming the Knicks had the 8th pick?
The Knicks had the 8th pick, yes.
Interesting.
They did. Now, the NBA is a little bit different than the NFL in that it's not automatically by your record, right? So we've been on the show saying, hey, if you're the Jets, go 0-16. If you go 0-82 in the NBA, you're not guaranteed the first pick. Mm-hmm. So the Knicks were they were not the 8th worst team. They were worse than that. But because of their odds that they always have, it just didn't work out. So typical New York Knicks. But at least it looks like they may have gotten the draft right. So time will tell. We got on them last week. We said that the Knicks were terrible and they were never going to go anywhere, and they did it right. So I'm happy to eat crow on that. And let's hope that the experts that are saying that the Knicks did very well for a change are correct. And long-term, they are there. Shifting gears to the NFL. All right. I'm going to try here, Dougie Sticks. All right. To not get really upset here. We went into the week, and we talked about this last week. We were 6-4, meaning that we had 6 weeks we had them right. 4 weeks, we didn't have them right. So at that point, if you had listened to us through the first 10 weeks of the program, you would have money. 6 wins, 4 losses, net positive 2. This week, week number 11 that just concluded last night, was a crucial week for us. And as it seems to be always, when we lose and have losing weeks, it comes in the most ridiculous fashions, which is typical. As I don't know if you ever watch on ESPN, they have the show Bad Breaks or whatever it is, where they just show you like things you couldn't believe to how you lose bets. That's what's happening to us. So this past weekend, and I'm going to beat a dead horse here. How many times have I said on the program, and I'm not even going to look at you when I say this because you're probably going to get annoyed, take the home team when they're getting points.
Oh, you say it. How many? This is episode 14, so that would be 14 times.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Almost every show I say that. So the Texans, we had getting 2 points at home, and the Dolphins, the Texans getting 2 points at home versus the Patriots, and the Denver Broncos getting 4 points at home versus Miami. That was always my 101 theory. Take the teams getting points at home, and it hit. No problem. 2-0. Matter of fact, the 2 teams getting points didn't even need the points. They won the game outright.
Nice.
So we were right about that. We had the Falcons getting 5 in New Orleans, and that just did not hit. And then Philly, I figured would recoup a little bit. They were getting 3.5 on the road in Cleveland, and Cleveland's not that good to begin with. And Philly just stinks. I mean, they just belong in the NFC East for sure in that crappy division because they are not going anywhere. So we were even 2-2. The other game we had was the Packers getting 2 at Indianapolis. Now, I don't know why, but on Sunday at about, I want to say 5:10, I saw the score of this game in the second quarter, and it was 21-3 Packers, and Indy couldn't get anything going. Now, we have a 14-point lead, and we're getting points, and it's Indianapolis and Phillip Rivers, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know what? Money's in the bag here. That's a win.
Yep.
I don't know what happened. I didn't watch the second half. But the Packers didn't score in the entire – they scored 28 in the first half and then scored a field goal to tie it up at the end of the fourth quarter, and that was it.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, look, we should have won this game. We didn't, and I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying how close it was and how we are sticking with our theme of losing in remarkable fashion.
Remarkable fashion.
Every single week we lose in a way that's like Heartbreak Hotel. So that drops our record to 6-5. So
still winning.
We're still up. So if you've listened to us and you followed every week, you'd still be in the positive. So you would
don't feel that bad.
No, we don't feel that bad. I mean, look, we would have made you money still, but just not as much as we would have liked. So we're going to try and recap that and recoup that would actually be a better word. Recoup that.
Let's do it.
In week number 12. So here we go. I don't want to pick this game. This is the one game that we had that I picked that I don't want to pick. I don't know why I did this. The Steelers -4 Thursday night when you're done with your turkey or whatever you eat. And a lot of people like myself or my wife don't eat turkey, right? I mean, it's not – I don't know why it is such a thing people go crazy for. But when you're done eating your turkey or whatever you're eating on Thursday and you're in your coma of what? Tryptophan, I think it's called. Yeah. And you've had your, 4 pieces of pie if you're me and a couple ice cream scoops. And you're laying on the couch. The Thursday night game comes on, and it's a good game. It's the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers at home versus their rival, the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers are giving 4 points here. And I normally would not want to touch this game, but for some reason, Baltimore just stinks. They really do. Yeah. They lost up in New England 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, and then this weekend it lost at home to Tennessee in overtime. I don't know what is up with Lamar Jackson, and I'm glad I don't need to know because I had him in fantasy last year, and he was amazing. This year, he's not. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that team. The Steelers are on a roll here, obviously, at 10-0, and Baltimore today got hit with some COVID issues. Their 2 running backs both got diagnosed tested positive. So if you are a fantasy football player and you're listening to the program, you may want to try and get Gus Edwards. That's a little helpful hint. But I'm going to take the Steelers here -4 at home versus Baltimore because until Baltimore proves me wrong, I don't know what to tell you. Let's stick with the teams at home getting points because we know I love this. That is Jacksonville +6.5 at home versus Cleveland. Jacksonville is not very good, but neither is Cleveland. And 6.5 points is a lot, and Cleveland I don't trust. So if I can get a home team versus Cleveland, 6.5, I'm taking them. The Patriots are getting 2.5 at home versus Arizona. Arizona's a better team. However, Kyler Murray is a young quarterback. So if I am the Patriots here, I have Bill Belichick drawing up some defensive scheme against a young quarterback, and I'm getting points, and it's home. I'm taking the Patriots, although I would love to be wrong on that. The last one, I don't understand. How in the world? Well, I shouldn't say I don't understand. I understand here. The Cincinnati Bengals are getting 5.5 points at home versus the Giants. The New York Football Giants, as terrible as they have been, are a 5.5 point favorite on the road.
They're in first place.
I believe they're tied for first place with 3-6
They're
record.
in first place. They're a pretty good team.
So Cincinnati lost their quarterback last week, and that is really what's going on here. Joe Burrow's out for the season with a torn ACL, but the Giants should not be a 5.5 point favorite on the road versus anybody. I'm sorry. Give me Cincinnati 5.5 at home. The last game I'm going to pick is Minnesota -4 at home versus Carolina. Carolina's not good. Minnesota needs to win, and Dalvin Cook and the offensive wide receivers have actually been clicking. So give me Minnesota -4 at home. The last game we'll pick, it's not in the 5. I made our 5, but we always pick the home game, and that is the Jets. The Jets are getting 6.5 at home versus Miami. I'm not touching the Jets. I don't trust them at all. Give me Miami to recoup. Recoup. I got it right this time. I used the right word. Not a wordsmith. Give me Miami to cover 6.5 on the road. So to recap the 5 games that we pick on the program: Steelers -4 at home versus Baltimore, Cincinnati getting 5.5 at home versus the New York Football Giants, the New England Patriots getting 2.5 at home versus the Arizona Cardinals, the Jacksonville Jaguars home getting 6.5 versus the Cleveland Browns, and last but not least, the Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People Eaters, -4 at home versus Carolina. Sound good to you?
Does sound good.
Got it. So let's transition here for a minute, as I see he is on our screen, and we'll see if modern technology wants to work. And we are going to bring in from the San Jose Sharks an awesome guy, and we'll explain further why I'm saying that in a couple minutes. But that is Kurtis Gabriel. And let's see if we can get technology here to join us. How are you, Kurtis?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you up in Canada?
Doing well. I'm having you got me on a crazy busy day, so I'm buzzing. You're gonna get a great interview out of me when I'm feeling like this. I'm all over the place, so I've had to eat so much today, dude. And when we're done this, I'll go eat again, and I'll go eat again, and I'll go eat again. But I love the process of being a hockey player. How about you?
Well, I would say I love the process of being a beer league hockey player. I don't know that I can speak to that answer fully. Well, let me ask you this. I saw now your Instagram page, and we'll put it up on the screen for people to follow, and you see it at the bottom of the screen now. But your Instagram page the other day, I believe I saw you lost 55 pounds, right? Did I see that in the off season?
Lost 50? No. Oh, no. Okay, so you got confused. Clearly.
What I actually did was I went and worked with. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Sorry. I was just connecting my AirPods in there. I thought they were connected. No, I was actually grappling / hockey fighting with a CFL center lineman. So he's 270 in the off season, and he's like 3 bills and when he's playing. So that was me being 215 going up against him. So I was just showing, 270 versus him. Yeah, that's how much he weighs. Clearly, I got to work on my communication skills. But if I was that big, I'd already be the heavyweight champ of the league.
Well, you would, yeah. And we've seen you fight some of the heavyweights in the NHL, for sure. So are you excited now? A lot of people on Halloween look to get a gift of candy if you're a kid, but you got a gift 2 days later after Halloween this year on November 2nd and signed with San Jose. How excited are you to go out to beautiful Northern California?
Very excited. I'm very fortunate to have gotten my number one option every single time I fit free agency. So that was Jersey, that was Philly, and now that's San Jose. So I can honestly say that. I wouldn't lie to you guys. And they're a team that I earmarked that needs me, and have a funny kind of connection going back. And I always felt like if I didn't make it anywhere else, I'd end up here. And they felt the same way, actually. So it's kind of neat. And they're obviously a team that's in transition, and they have some older guys that are established and really good players, and they got a lot of influx of young guys, and they need somebody to basically add to that group and basically be the big brother for a lot of them.
Cool. And it is actually also one of the few arenas out of the tri-state area I've been to, the Shark Tech out there, and it is awesome. It is an awesome place to watch a game. You'll love playing out there, and the whole intro, how you guys come out through the Shark's mouth, is always fun. It's a cool experience, so you'll have a great time out there. So you had mentioned you played in New Jersey. Now we taped this show out of New Jersey, and you were here in 2018 and 2019, which really isn't that long ago. But if you think about the way the world is right now, it seems like it was like an eternity, right? Like the way time is going. Talk to me about your time here. Did you enjoy playing down here?
I really did. I really felt like that was going to be kind of my home. Fortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted, but coming in, in February, I think it was, or no, right around Christmas, January, and coming up there and not knowing how long I'd be there, but then getting a few games, John Hines started to like what he saw, and to this day, he's the best coach still I've had, for sure. I just felt so prepared under him. I thought he valued what I brought to the team. He saw all the little intangible things that some people seem to miss and they want to overlook, but I really thought that I was valued and I was a part of a group there. And even though we weren't doing well, it was really nice to be accepted into the locker room. The trainers were unbelievable. The fans were so accepting. It really just allowed me to kind of be myself and have my best stint in the bigs. And I really thought I'd be heading back there, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, John Hines, who you mentioned who's your coach, had some pretty high accolades to say about you. I'm sure you've heard this, but this is what he had said about you when his time with you ended. Quote, he's a guy who brings attributes that a lot of other players don't. He brings toughness. He brings physicality. He's got good hands. He's defensively responsible. He can finish. And when he finishes, he hits through people. He's definitely a presence, end quote. That, to me, as a hockey guy, is some pretty incredible praise because he's basically criticizing everything, right? Your physicality, your defensive ability, and the fact that you can finish and score. So John Hines obviously thought incredibly highly of you to say that because he's hitting every area of your hockey game that you could possibly hit.
Why we let this guy go?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They let him go too, right? So he's one of those guys that he's a pure hockey man, and I just vibe with that so hard, dude. Me and Kevin Rooney, we would be in the corner. We were in like the rookie corner right next to the speaker. Perfect place for me. And Hines would come in after a bad first or second, and we would just be on the edge of our seats, dude, hanging on every word this guy said. We couldn't be too loud because we're rookies, but after he was done, we'd just look at each other and just punch each other and be like, let's freaking go. So he was an unbelievable dude, just pure passion for the game. Had no problem letting you know that you weren't doing enough. And I can't say enough of good things about him. Talked to my agency, talked to him a little bit actually, but they're covered with big boy tough guys out there in Nashville. So hopefully I'd love to get on the Sharks and play against him and show him I've gotten even better.
Well, he was picked up by Nashville so quickly. I mean, here's a guy, coaching guy and when he hit the coaching market, there were some other big names out there, right? So he wouldn't have been the first one that you would think would be on people's short list, but he was really in demand real quick. And he's got a team out there in Nashville that's pretty good. So he landed in a good spot.
I just don't understand, if you don't want to play for that guy, I don't think you're a hockey player. In my opinion, whatever the reason was, I won't get into why he wasn't there anymore, but I just think if he stopped practice one time and guys weren't going hard enough, and he just looks around. He's like, "This is the NHL. This is professional hockey. If you get hurt in practice, you get hurt. We're playing it like a game out here, and that's the mentality you have to have, in my opinion. You fall back on your training, you fall back on your work, and he understood that so much. It's kind of like a military mentality, but I just think that's the way it is. You don't make the NHL or play in the NHL because you want it easy. You want to compete against the best, and I really think he's going to do well. Obviously, you saw this year in Nashville, but hopefully he can get a full training camp in and put all his stuff in. But those guys out there probably need a kick in the pants from John Hines.
And they will definitely get it, and they've got the right guy. So when you were here in 2018, 2019, I want to ask you a couple the guys you played with. Taylor Hall was hurt most of that year, if I remember right, and that was the year you were here. Am I right about that?
Yep.
Okay. So you had obviously Nico Hischier, who was the next number one pick, had a good season that year. And then the Devils were led in points by a local product, actually, Kyle Palmieri. What did you think about playing with both of them?
Just Halsey was just, he'd be up in the press box if I wasn't playing. We had some chats there. Didn't get to see him too much. I remember him in training camp flying around when he was healthy. Palms, though, obviously was there when I was playing and playing really well. He's kind of our go-to guy. Just an unbelievable human being. He actually was one of also, as well as myself and Michael Grabner and somebody else, helped Steven Finkel come out as a D3 hockey player, and now he's a ref as well. So he's an unbelievable human that's going to help out with those things. He runs a military ball with the team because his sister's in the military, and he raised a lot of good money for that. So I can't say enough about him. Very welcoming, treated me like anybody else. Got a wicked shot. He's a freaking tank, super strong. Really loved playing with him.
Got it. Yeah, and he is a free agent next summer, so maybe you could be reunited with Mr. Palmieri out in San Jose. You never know.
Yeah, that'd never know.
So one of your stories, and you kind of just gave a good segue into it, an experience. And I'll say that when I was looking up some stuff last night, I did not know this, but this is a pretty remarkable story about you and your time here in New Jersey. So I guess the Devils had played a game versus the Montreal Canadiens on February 25th, 2019. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with the story. But it, again, wasn't that long ago. If you think about it, it was really only a little bit over a year and a half ago. But the way the world is, it seems so long. And this was Pride Night at the Prudential Center. And for those of you who don't know and are not in the area, the Prudential Center is where the Devils play in Newark. And I guess as part of the promotion was that all the players on the Devils, when you came out for your 15-minute pregame warm-up, had this really cool rainbow kind of style, and we'll put pictures of it up, tape on their sticks, Pride tape. And the story, and you can tell me if I'm right, is that when you guys went in to the locker room, a lot of people, well, really everybody took it off and went back to their regular tape, but you kept it on. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's Pride Tape, who I work really closely with, Jeff McLean, Dean Petrick, really awesome people. So, yeah, I had an experience that summer beforehand, just how life works organically. It's weird, but ex-girlfriend of mine's friend was kind of basically unsupported by a very wealthy family because of her coming out to date one of my other girlfriend's friends. So I just kind of saw that. I'd never experienced that. And I kind of just was like, that's not right. That doesn't make sense to me. And I've always been someone, whether it's on the ice, I step up and protect teammates. I step up in society. In high school, I was, stand up for bullying kind of stuff, just kind of in my DNA. So I was like, and I happened to be up in the NHL for that game, and I'm playing really well. I scored my first goal 2 nights earlier against the Senators, and I'm like, I don't want to mess around with my black tape on my stick, so I put it on the shaft of my stick. And yeah, so everybody comes in after, and they said you can take it off and put it back, put your regular tape on, and I just had a split-second decision again in the corner by the speaker, and I'm just like, take me longer to take that tape off than to just leave it on, and hopefully somebody notices. So it's just a very quick, small decision that I wasn't too premeditated. I just had in the back of my mind that I didn't like how a friend was treated, and it took on a life of its own, obviously, that night when I scored on Carey Price and we won 2-0, and it was broadcast in Canada, and my phone's blowing up. I have a goal that I knew was coming. I felt so good. It was the best emotional moment of my life, and then to have that as well and people messaging me about that was just very special.
Yeah, the quote when you kind of just said it was obviously that goal that you scored that night against the Canadiens was not only a goal, but it was the game-winning goal, if I'm not mistaken. And you had said that goal was the best feeling of your life, bar none. I mean, that's a pretty cool story for you to be the only guy on the ice that left it on. And then, I mean, Carey Price is no joke, right? I mean, we're talking about one of probably, if not the best goalies in the NHL, although I'm a Ranger fan, so I'm always going to side with Rick. But I mean, that's pretty cool. That is pretty awesome.
It would have been nice if I beat him clean short side or something, but it was a goal that I needed to score, that John Hines wants to see me score. Right, I went in and forechecked Victor Mete, who he didn't want to go to my OHL team. He was drafted by my team, and he wanted to defect to the London Knights. So I kind of felt good beating him out of the corner and knocking a puck down and putting it in the back of the net, and had some room to celebrate. And dude, if you look at the pictures from that, I am just so fired up, dude. And wasn't even thinking of the Pride tape, but then when people start messaging me and I scored a goal for inclusion, I'm like, wow, this is just weird how life works, right?
Yeah, and if you're following the show online, you can see the link to pridetape.com. If you'd like to purchase some, you can always go on that site. And it is it's really cool looking tape too, for hockey tape. It is a really neat looking product. So what'd you do now that night? What do you do now? You're all fired up. What do you do after the game?
Go through the mountain of messages, right? For people saying they were watching at home in Canada because the game was broadcast nationally, seeing me score. And then you have all the people that are sending me pictures, zooming in, like, oh my God, he wore the tape and then he scored with it. And the creators of the Pride tape, Jeff McLean, Dean Petrick, messaging me and starting relationship with them. And, just the mountain of messages, back at the hotel I had to get through, and very, very special night. And it sent me on this journey of, in my free time, obviously trying to share my hockey journey on Instagram and show some of who I am, but also, trying to bring some illumination to these issues that I feel like I have an obligation to as a privileged athlete with a platform. I feel like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, you've we encourage people, and we'll put your Instagram page up one more time on the screen. The work that you do for people, the gay and lesbian community is incredible. It really is.
Thank you.
What you do off the ice is remarkable, and obviously making it to the NHL level on its own is really cool. But you are equally as impressive off the ice. So, speaking of the on the ice stuff, are you training as if you are coming back by January 1st? I mean, we're really, as hockey fans, we keep reading that the NHL is trying to get back by January 1st, which really is 4.5 weeks or 5.5 weeks. So your training is what right now? Or you think that's what you're going to try and hit?
Yeah, I mean, it's better to be ready a little early than late, right? So, I mean, we're going to play how many months of hockey in 6 days a week on the ice, so might as well just get in as close to game shape as possible. So I've definitely ramped it up. 5 skates this week, some skates 2 hours. Next week might go to 6 skates, but I still see it hard to believe it starts January 1st. Christmas is right there, but at the same time, that might, even if we start January 15th, January 20th training camp, San Jose, for example, New Jersey, they weren't in the return to play, so they're going to get a 3-week training camp. So you got to factor that in as well. I don't know. I'm getting all my stuff set up. I just texted my marketing guy. He's going to get my car shipped out to Cali instead of driving. I'm getting everything done as soon as possible this next week so that I'm ready to go at the drop of a hat. But very interesting times. Obviously, as a two-way player, I'd love to earn my way on the team, and the Sharks, I think, need someone like me. But it'd be interesting if there is no AHL, or if there's nowhere to get sent down to. Are we on a practice squad? Like, how's it going to work? Fitness testing's already been canceled from what I understand on some teams, so it's very interesting times.
Now, when you were in the AHL, speaking of the AHL, you played in Iowa. Is that right? Did I see
Yes,
that?
sir. 4 years.
Now, how was I've been to Des Moines, so I have been to Iowa. Most people in my life I know have never been there. It's an interesting place. I thought it was a cool city. What did you think about playing in Iowa?
It was awesome. It's a super clean place. The downtown's small, but it's got everything you need to have a good time and great food. The arena's right downtown, 17,000 seat arena. Like all the big acts came through. We went to Taylor Swift. We went to Drake. We got to meet Taylor Swift's mom on the floor. We're like having a good time. So the people, obviously, they're Midwest people. What do they like? They're like wrestling, violence, basketball, football. So they loved how I played, obviously. It was a very good 4 years. Not on the ice, we didn't play that great, but as far as a hockey place and how they didn't have done recently, it's really going to start growing. And I think they're finally, they've been there twice before, 2 affiliates, but I think this one's here to stay now, and it's going to really build, being 3 hours from Minnesota.
Very cool. Speaking of hockey, because that's why the Midwest people like you, because you're good at that. Who is there a name that comes to mind, the toughest guy you ever fought in the NHL?
In the NHL, I mean, I can't remember exactly how many fights I've had in the NHL. Peluso and Reeves probably in the NHL. I keep telling people this. I fought Reeves. My right hand middle finger was stitched straight from a fight with Polak in Toronto 2 nights before, so I couldn't throw right hand. So I knew I was going to have to eat some punches in that one, but ate some with Peluso as well. But, dude, all the toughest players are in the minors. I don't care what anybody says. The guys that are in the NHL, they can play and they can fight. The guys who are really tough are in the minors. There's nobody tougher, in my opinion, than Brett Gallant. You want to go watch some hockey fights? I think you might find 2 that he's ever lost, maybe 1. And if he loses, he gets knocked out because he does not care. He is so tough, dude. It's crazy. So NHL for fighting, bring it on. I'll do that all day. Minor league fighting, whole nother animal.
Oh, that's a lot harder, right? Yeah. So let me ask you this. Advice for, I have a young son who likes hockey. What would be your advice for kids, particularly younger kids who say, I want to play for the Rangers one day, or I want to play for the Devils one day? What's your best advice you can give youth hockey players?
I mean, just like, really, it's like everything else. All the answers are on the internet now. People coming up back in the day, they got what they got from learning the game from watching it, and then coaches that, had limited access to information in the game. So everything's on the internet now. You could take a kid, get a stick, cut it down to like a height that he's off ice now, or maybe get some Mars Blade rollerblades on that feel like ice. They literally do. You could go get a smooth surface. You can learn to skate on those things. get a green biscuit and work your hands and follow Pavel Barber, Hey Barber on Instagram. He breaks the game down very well, all the skills. You see kids that he works with that just get better and better. So I think there's no excuse. If you want to be in a hockey player in the NHL, I had no access to this stuff. When I was growing up, I played single A, double A. The coaches were like, pass the puck, shoot the puck, hit, because we're Canadians and we hit and we play gritty. No, there's no skill development. There's no, it was just a joke in my opinion, but that's the times it was. If I could go back and be 5, 6, 7 years old, I think I'd be like the modern day Cam Neely, because I would stick handle my life away. But I was playing all different sports and I didn't know, and my passion grew steadily. But man, all the answers are there. There's no excuse. Go dive into the internet. It's all there.
Yeah. And now, since you're training, really thinking that hockey's going to return soon, take us through a typical day for you. You train in the morning. Is that right? Do I remember that?
Mm-hmm. So today was a crazy day. I've been doing a lot. So for me, I'm not a huge body type. Like I got to really eat to keep my weight on. But the muscle mass I've built, so it's been a little crazy. This morning I skated 2 hours in Stratford with Joey Hishin, who's an unbelievable skills guy. He's the assistant coach, assistant GM in my former junior team, former first round pick in the NHL. Guy knows his stuff. So skate there for 2 hours, then that's an hour drive back home, eating food, get to the gym, do an hour and a half workout. Today I was on the ice 2 hours, so I didn't have to do any extra stick handling. But usually that's what it is. Right now it's an hour or two on the ice with a workout, and then we scrimmaging on Thursdays in a 4-on-4 league, which is a lot of fun. Fans, we tried to get it live streamed and stuff, but with COVID they don't want that. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, just a lot. Now at this point, we're basically how we are in season. In season, you work out lower body maybe once, upper body maybe once a week, and you skate. That's about it. So that's kind of what we're on now.
Very cool. Well, speaking about eating to gain muscle mass, why don't we shift gears a little bit as we have the Thanksgiving holiday approaching here on Thursday. Why don't we end here, Kurtis? Why don't you give me I'm going to ask you some food questions. You tell me what you would prefer to eat. All right?
All right.
So
all right.
You go. Now, if I'm not, Canadian Thanksgiving was when? October? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, is it similar where it's like, you sit down with the family and you eat a massive meal?
Yeah, just no football.
Yeah, okay. Well, the football games, for the most part, except one on Thursday, are not very appetizing. So we don't have that right this year. But, all right, so someone puts in front of you mashed potatoes or stuffing. Which way do you go?
Oh, my God. Not even a question. Mashed potatoes.
Okay, so I would agree on you. What do you think, Dougie Sticks?
It depends what I'm eating it with, but I would have to say sweet potatoes.
Oh,
I can
no.
go.
But then
No.
if you go to like a Polish Thanksgiving or something, they have this sausage stuffing on one side of the family, my stepdad's family. That's some good stuffing. So that would make it a bit more interesting. But the bread stuffing, get that out of here.
Now, does your stuffing have like chunks of apples and raisins in it?
My family didn't even really make it. Like they get the box stuff because we don't really care. We're all about the potatoes.
Nice.
So now we were discussing here in the studio before we actually went on today that a lot of people, including myself, are not big turkey fans. So someone puts in front of you turkey, or you could have, let's say, ham. Which way are you going?
Oh my God, turkey with a turkey base layer of mashed potatoes, gravy all over it.
Okay, and then you're in happy land, I would take it, right?
Yeah.
All right, shifting gears to dessert. We going apple or pumpkin pie?
I'll go apple. Yeah, I wasn't really a pie guy, but now I'm getting into it. If it's apple, get some cinnamon, get some ice cream on there, I'm in.
There you go. That does definitely help the apple pie. 100%.
Warm up the apple pie, cold ice cream contrast. That's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Cream
followed by about a 30-minute nap afterwards. What would be the best dessert for you if you were coming to our Thanksgiving table? What would we have to have for you?
Carrot cake.
Wow.
A really nice hot carrot cake loaded up with cream cheese, and then the ice cream, dude. There's nothing better than that. That's what I had after my first NHL game in Minnesota, St. Paul Grill. Took my family out to dinner. I don't think I made any money that night in that game and just went to town on a bunch of food. That was awesome.
So the next time you are this way, whether you're visiting the Devils, the Rangers, or the Islanders, let me know. There is a place in New York City. Now, I am not a carrot cake fan, but there is a place in New York City that supposedly has the most legendary carrot cake in the world that my uncle brings out from the city every time there's a family holiday and swears by it. And everyone raves about it. It's not my thing, but I will be more than happy to buy you a full cake. I'm not encouraging you to eat the whole thing, Kurtis, but I will buy you the cake next time you are here.
Hey, I don't know why I didn't hear about it. Obviously, it's a big city, but I missed that one for sure. And now I'm on this freaking diet where I'm eating no dairy, no wheat, and no eggs. So I don't even think I can eat any of this right now that we're talking about. Besides the turkey and the mashed potatoes, the gravy has what, like wheat in it? You mix flour in it. I can't even eat that.
Yeah. Well, maybe by the time you're back and then you're in game shape because you're playing every day, I think you could treat yourself to a little bit.
Maybe. Unless I'm just, I finally broke through the NHL. I've made San Jose as my goal, my dream, make it out training camp, play there. If I'm doing that and I'm still feeling this good, there's nothing you can put in me that I will eat if that's what's making me feel good.
Now, are they training? Our training camps are in the normal spots, at least as of now, right? With everything going on?
Yeah. I think the plan is to have every team play out of their own building, from what I understand. But it's just going to be like a baseball schedule where you'll be at home for maybe 2 weeks, play a couple series against teams, 2 or 3 games, and then go on the road and do the same thing.
Yeah, give us a little insider info right now. What's going on?
That's what I think personally. That's what I think personally makes the most sense, and from what I'm hearing. Whereas you get off the plane, you're right to the hotel, you can't leave. You play the games, you're out. I'm sure they'll set up some hotels. The hotels will expand some things to let guys, a couple of days have, just like the bubble, like a little mini hotel bubble. You can go to golf or shuttle back and forth to keep everything safe, and then get stuff up our nose all the day, I'm sure. So that's what I think is going to happen, but don't take my word for it.
Well, if that does happen, and when you make your way to the Newark Airport Marriott, and there's someone standing outside the revolving doors with a piece of carrot cake, that would be
Hey, I would love if we go all over the place, but it looks like it'll be like Western Division and Central.
Regional, yeah.
And all stuff. Yeah, but hey, if that's true, and I'm back on eating whatever or something, I'll give it to my teammates at least, but I'll definitely have to try there.
You got it. Well, Kurtis, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in San Jose. Come back and visit us anytime you'd like to come on. You're more than welcome, and best of luck. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was a great time, and you can check out these shirts, Allied Pride Tape shirts, at my Instagram. There's a little link tree in the bio. You can get hoodies, sweaters, or like shopping bags, and that goes to Believe You Can Play. So check out all the stuff on there. I'm always kind of doing certain stuff like that. So thanks for the time, guys.
Yeah, you're great, and again, thanks for all you do off the ice as well. So thanks, Kurtis.
See you guys.
See you, buddy. That is Kurtis Gabriel of the San Jose Sharks out in beautiful Northern California. What a great guy, huh? I mean,
Great
like
guy.
off the ice, could he be more personable?
Yeah, that was great.
Right?
Very cool. Very cool.
Good guy, and we wish him the best, and we hope he makes the team. And if he does, and they come out east, I am going to have to go to Lloyd's in the Bronx, which is like this world-renowned place for carrot cake. But that'll be all right if I have to do that. And there you go. So with our football picks, hopefully this weekend we recoup and we get back on the winning side of things. If you were tuning in the beginning of the show, we gave you our picks. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
Going to the girlfriend's parents' house. I thought I'm not, we work hard, we do our thing. So I figured I was going to use COVID as an excuse and get out and just have a nice day off, have some turkey and chill. But we're still going to continue Thanksgiving. Not mad about it, but I thought COVID was going to shut everything down.
Now, what do you bring? I'm trying to remember when I was dating Jess and we weren't married yet, but we always did Thanksgiving. So, but if I showed up at her parents' house for a holiday, I have to bring something. What do you bring?
I bring flowers and was it Peroni? It's like an Italian beer that her father likes.
Look at you!
Yeah,
so you get the mom with the flowers and the dad with
make
the
everybody happy.
Look at you! What a rock star!
Yeah, it's the green bottles. I don't know what it's called, but I know when I see it. I'm like, that's the one.
Well, you have yourself a really good Thanksgiving.
What about you?
What am I doing? Normally we would go to my parents. It is kind of like my mom's favorite holiday. So we normally would go to my parents with about 25, 30 other people. Well, no, that's probably too many people. 20 people. This year, it'll be watered down and it will probably just be us. That is, if nothing changes with the quarantine world, especially with my wife being a teacher, at any moment she can get a phone call and it's 14-day reset again. But the plan right now is to go to my parents, just us. It'll be definitely a different Thanksgiving. I can't tell you how many people, well, really, I'm sure this isn't a surprise, are just hanging solo, with just their immediate family and not leaving their house. And what do people do? If you let's say you're home. I was thinking this today. I don't know why.
All right.
This was like my ADD earlier today, right? Let's say you suck at cooking, okay? You're terrible.
I already got the answer, but go ahead.
And you normally would go to your parents or your in-laws, your uncles, whatever. So you never had to worry about cooking to make Thanksgiving meal. Now you're stuck in your house. No one's going to cook for you. And I would imagine like there's not a lot of takeout options. Like you can't order a pepperoni pizza on Thursday.
Boston Market.
Very good. My daughter would like that. But what do you do? You know how many people are going to, like, if you're the fire
Boston
department,
Market.
if you're the fire department, I mean, you've got to be on a massive standby here this week because you're going to have so many people cooking Thanksgiving dinner that have never cooked it before.
What's wrong with Boston Market?
There's nothing. Look, I like Boston Market, and again, my daughter loves Boston Market, but I'm not.
If I'm having Thanksgiving alone, like, or I'm a bunch of dudes in a firehouse, like, I mean, scratch that. Let me rephrase that. Alone by myself, can't go near my family. I'm going to Boston Market. I'm not going to go through all the process of cooking Thanksgiving dinner for just myself. But if I'm hanging out like a Friendsgiving or a couple guys in a firehouse, then everyone can bring one thing or make one thing or something.
Okay. And what would you contribute?
There's a ancient Friedman recipe of this tortellini salad, and it's a Thanksgiving. Wow. Yeah, it's this cold. It's like pasta.
I would have never guessed that.
Yes. It's a tortellini. It's a cold tortellini pasta salad, and it's pretty good. It's a secret Friedman recipe.
Wow. Well, I am making, and I would say it's a secret recipe of mine, but it's not because it's in the slow cooker book that I have in the kitchen.
Nice.
I make a cream corn every year and then a pecan pie, which is also just like a rip-off of a recipe online. So I can't say any of my recipes are secret.
Just put in one secret ingredient and make it yours.
There you go. I will try that. I won't tell anyone. Thanks for the advice. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving, bud.
May you bring the right flowers and the right beer and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too, bud.
We wish you all a good Thanksgiving as well. You can always email us anytime at, as I mentioned, mypbshow@gmail.com. And at that point, the letters of the show, if you're following us online, came up before I even finished the sentence. It's like it knew what I was going to say.
Learning.
I tell you, modern technology. Thanks for joining us again. A major shout out and thank you to Kurtis Gabriel of the San Jose Sharks, who was an awesome guest. I'm sure we'll have him back on soon. We'll follow his journey throughout this year as hopefully hockey comes back. And we will be back with you next week. If all goes as planned, Jeff Sheesby will be joining the program of Old Man Who Bets.
Oh, yeah.
Which means we better have a winning week because I don't want to see him next week on the show if we have not.
You want to scan over those picks one more time?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll mention it one more time. We have the Steelers -4 Thanksgiving night, home versus Baltimore. Cincinnati 5.5, getting 5.5 at home versus the Giants. The Patriots getting 2.5 at home versus Arizona. Jacksonville getting 6.5 at home versus Cleveland, and then Minnesota giving 4 at home versus Carolina. We'll see how we do. If you are listening to us in the United States with Thanksgiving on Thursday, we wish you the best Thanksgiving we could possibly have in these weird times. And we will be back with you with Jeff Sheesby next week. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and thanks for listening.